Hey, what's up everyone? This is the watch list video for Thursday, April 28th. Starting off with the daily of the SPY. Today we gapped up a little bit over yesterday's close, had a nice run, and then gave a lot of that back. Well, there's the gap up. We actually rallied, then we took out the low of day, then we took out the high of day, and it looked like we were going to take out the low of day again, and then the market closed. Anyway, after hours, Facebook reported. So let me go to the daily here and show you this. What, Facebook, there it is. And there's the daily. So had an ugly gap down today and topped out right around $181. Anyway, right now in after hours, it's trading at 207. I think it actually hit 210. So that may prop up the market tomorrow. Who knows? You know, big name, and obviously they beat on earnings. So I'm going to watch this one as a gap play tomorrow. And I'll also mention PayPal, PYPL. There's the daily. Pretty beaten up going into earnings. And as I'm talking right now, it's trading at 86 in after hours. Not quite the gap. Not even over the high of day. The high of day was 86.60. So we'll see. But I'm going to watch that one in Facebook because they're both pretty beaten up. And then we have gaps up tomorrow. Let me slide this over real quick. And you can read this. I'm not going to read it to you. But there's... you can always pause the video if you need to, but it's just a quick synopsis of what we do in our chat room. None of this is investment advice. I'm a day trader. I make my money between the bells. I do not have a big list for tomorrow because the market's been weird. Had a lot of weakness, but then some big snapback bounces, and overall the market's still pretty weak. And it's just not giving a lot of great setups. If I could get 4 or 5 nasty days down in a row, we'd have some beautiful bounce play setups. But we keep getting the choppiness right after some of the recent sell-off. So anyway, NUTX is a weird stock. It went from 436 to 1381 yesterday. Today gapped up and topped out at 1051 before closing at 872. Anyway, it's a what I call a more quiet than yesterday inside day. So I'm looking for a possible third day play, but again, I'll only trade that with with an A+ intraday setup. I have no idea what that's supposed to be because BZ is not on my list, but I've got it written down. Hopefully before this video is over, I'll figure out what it was supposed to be. JCSE. Okay, so this thing came public, went all the way to 24, and then look at today. The range on today was a high of 1921 and a low of 406. That is crazy action. I'll show you the intraday. So there's the intraday. Small gap down. Had that almost, this kind of give you a look in real time. It has that almost downside shape, right? You would never expect this to end up taking out the high of day and going up to 19, but it did. Look at that. And you can see the gaps there. It's because it had volatility halts. Anyway, and then falls completely apart at the end of the day. So while it's not a pretty chart, it's a crazy stock, and maybe now a little bit overdone to the downside. So I'm going to put it on bounce watch for tomorrow. All right, so that's Netflix is next, NFLX, and this got beaten up on earnings and nothing but selling ever since. I'm going to show you 15-minute candles. I want you to pay attention to the vertical lines. That's the opening bell for each one of these days, and you'll notice since the nasty gap down. Including the gap down day, it never broke its early high. So there's the gap down day. There's its early high the next day. Look to the right, never broke above it. The next day, put in its early high, in the first 45 minutes. I'll zoom in a little bit now. And the next day, and today, and so on. So what I'd like to see, those of you familiar with my bounce play ideas, is, a somewhat narrow range, and then an afternoon high of day break, we might get a little bit of short covering. So that's all. It's not a pretty chart, but I'm a day trader. It might give us a setup. And there's other ways that most of you in chat know that other things we'll look for too on potential bounce plays. All right, so that's Netflix. Boeing, I'm also putting on bounce watch. It's fallen from like 190 down to intraday today 146 before actually had a pretty nice bounce today, didn't it? So we'll see if it's gonna continue the intraday bounce that it had tomorrow. VIVK, big volume today, big breakout, but closing well off its highs. It's going to land itself on a chart. This one's kind of obscure, NEGG, but it's found support, and it's had a couple little volume spikes lately. The most recent high was 674 right there. Then yesterday 666, then today 667. So I'm looking for over this range, maybe a breakout. This one gets these weird big spikes every now and then. It does seem to have found support. So now if we get one of those spikes, it might actually break out. All right, so that's why I'm watching that one. LCFY. Looks like a recent IPO, had big volume today, but closed well off its highs. I'm just going to throw it on a chart. And I already talked about Facebook and PayPal. So hang on one second. I'm going to pause this video. All right, well, I paused the video and tried to figure out. For the life of me, I can't remember if or what I was trying to put on the list when I saw that BZ, because I would look at all my charts. I don't have any symbols even close to that. So I'm thinking, I typed BZ trying to type something else. I don't know. Anyway, if I think of it in chat tomorrow or before the opening bell, I'll let you know. But otherwise, we'll see everybody in chat in the morning. I'm going to quit babbling and have a great night. We'll see you guys in the morning.